Please be seated. Let me invite Alex Shipley up to say a few words, our stewardship chair and vestry member. Come on up, Alex, please.
Good morning. For those of you who are tired of hearing from me, good news. This is the last time I'm coming up for I was just asked to kind of, for those of you who may not have been here last week, and for those of you who were, to remind you about the giving chart. And perhaps you had a chance to reflect on it and where you are in relationship with it and what it might mean to you. There's a lot to think about. I've had great discussions with people, and I just, it's a very enlightening thing, and just to keep that in your mind. It is also made somewhat apparent that not all of us know what the word cloud, how it works. And so the idea was that we were asked why we give, and we wrote it down on an index card. And the more common the word, the larger the font. And so when we look at this, what I thought was absolutely wonderful about our experiment was that love is the largest word, and I thought that was great. Things like gratitude, family, obligation, and it really speaks to why we as a community feel called to give to this wonderful community and church. I also thought it was very interesting, all of the different smaller ones and all the many different ways that we answer the question why. And there's all sorts of different and interesting and wonderful ways that people feel called to give. So that's a really fascinating thing. And this is posted in your bulletin, and you'll see it all over the place. And that's a good thing. So just wanted to explain that with you. In the mail, you probably received something we call the EOG, the Estimate of Giving cards. And we ask that you think about all of this as you make your estimation of what you might want to give for this year. And that's important to us so that we can plan for the coming year and know that what we can do and how we can grow as a community. Please bring that with you next week. If you forget, we'll have more. Don't worry. But that will be important for us, and we'll collect those up. And that's all for me, except to say that we just ask that you keep this prayer in mind. God, where do you want me to be in my giving? So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Alec, and thanks for your leadership and all your hard work. Thank you. I invite Lauren Merrill to come up to offer a giving reflection.
Good morning. I'm Lauren Merrill. For the past several weeks, I've been thinking about what I could say today about giving. I had a few ideas floating around when we did the word cloud exercise in Mass last week. Joe asked us to write down just one word that answered, why do we give to St. James? I considered my word, wrote it down, and as we passed the cards back to the ushers, I peeked at my husband's word. It was the same as mine. It was community. That didn't necessarily surprise me, but it did bring me joy to know that community is worth a lot to both of us. But just how much? It was summer of 2020. Everyone was still figuring out COVID. My oldest daughter had just turned 5, and she was registered for kindergarten at the local public school. She had been looking forward to riding the school bus for half of her life. But I could see the writing on the wall. The public schools were not going to open in the fall. As Alex shared with us 2 weeks ago, You can have a game plan, but plans change, and Jesus invites us to take up your cross and follow me. It was an easy path to consider St. James Academy, and they had a spot for her, except we had not budgeted as a family for private school tuition. We also had a baby in daycare. It wasn't going to be easy, but we had to make this work, and we did for 2 years by re-examining what we valued, which at the time was for our daughter to be part of an in-person community at the wonderful St. James Academy. She's at a different school now, and she is thriving in large part thanks to the community that was there to catch her when we needed it. That was a concrete example to us of exactly how much community meant to our family. Sometimes the path is more nebulous. What I do know for certain right now is that being a good steward of myself and my family helps me to be a better steward of the world. Back in week 1 of the Pathways book, the author talks about building a nest. He says, "The nests which birds build are not for the birds who build them, but for their young and for the next generation, for the future of the species." I'm going to stray a little from what the author says after that and say that St. James Church is my nest. It's my community, and so I want to be generous for both the now and the future. I can't think of many things I want more than for my young to have the comfort and safety of this community when they are at the age that I am now, and when they are at the age that I was when I felt I didn't have a faith community. As I see many parishioners here invite 3rd, 4th, 5th generations and more into this community, I am inspired to contribute toward the future of this church. I invite you to join me and the rest of the parish on this journey of prayer, gratitude, sacrifice, and generosity.
Corianne, could you come up and lead us in prayer?
God, help me to see all the blessings in my life. I come to you with an open and grateful heart. Teach me to be a good steward of all that I have. Open my eyes and my heart to see all the opportunities around me. Fill my heart and let me respond in every situation with an attitude of worship and a spirit of generosity. Renew my faith as I ask, God, where do you want me to be in my giving? Amen.